There comes a moment in life when everything you once knew simply stops working. Your career, your relationships, even the way you think. And then you ask yourself, am I failing? Or am I waking up? Zen masters call this the end of a cycle. And believe me when I tell you this, recognizing it in time can be the difference between years of unnecessary suffering or the beginning of the life you were always meant to live. Today we're going to explore one of the deepest and most transformative concepts of this ancient philosophy. Because understanding the end of a cycle is not just spiritual theory. It's a practical key to navigating the most difficult moments of your existence. Let me tell you something you might be living right now. You wake up every morning and feel like you're playing a role. You go to a job that no longer motivates you. You maintain superficial conversations with people who once fulfilled you. You follow the same routines, but everything feels empty. And the worst part isn't the emptiness. The worst part is that you feel guilty for feeling this way. You think, I should be grateful. I have a job, I have family, I have health. But something inside you is screaming, this is no longer enough. So let me tell you something that may free you right now. You are not broken. You are not ungrateful. You are not having a pathological existential crisis. You are experiencing the end of a cycle. And that, my friend, is something completely natural, deeply human, and absolutely necessary for your evolution. In Zen Buddhism, there is a fundamental concept called impermanence, or anicca. Everything flows, everything changes, everything has a beginning and an end. The seasons change. Rivers are never the same. Your body constantly renews its cells. And yet, we fiercely resist the internal changes of our own lives. So what exactly is an end of a cycle in Zen philosophy? An end of a cycle is that vital moment when a stage of your life has fulfilled its purpose and is ready to end. Not because you failed, not because something is wrong, but because you have learned everything you needed to learn in that chapter. Think of it like a tree in autumn. The leaves don't fall because the tree is sick. They fall because their cycle is complete. And that fall is not a tragedy. It's the necessary preparation for the next blossoming. Concrete example. Imagine that for 20 years you built a successful career in sales. You won awards, got promoted, became the best. But now, every Monday you wake up with a weight on your chest. The meeting that once excited you now drains you. The recognition you chased no longer fulfills you. Many would say, you're burned out, take a vacation. But Zen tells you something different. You've completed that learning. That cycle gave you everything it had to give. Now it's pushing you towards something new. And here is the key. Suffering does not come from the end of the cycle. Suffering comes from resisting that end. Zen masters speak of letting go or releasing. But they are not referring to irresponsibly abandoning your life. They mean recognizing when something has completed its natural course and having the wisdom not to cling to it out of fear or comfort. Because do you know what the most ironic thing is? Many times we cling to finished cycles not because they make us happy, but because they are familiar. And the human brain confuses what is familiar with what is safe. Now, here's what no one tells you about the ends of cycles, and listen carefully because this can save you years of confusion. Ends of cycles always send signals. The problem is that most people ignore them until they turn into crises. So pay attention. If you recognize 3 or more of these signs in your life right now, you are in the middle of an end of a cycle, whether you accept it or not. First sign, deep boredom. I'm not talking about a bad day. I'm talking about that existential boredom that no distraction can relieve. You change series, hobbies, routines, but nothing touches that inner emptiness. That's your soul telling you, I've learned everything here. I need new territory. Second sign, the same solutions stop working. Before, when you had a problem in your relationship, you talked and it was resolved. Now you talk and the problem remains. Before, working harder gave you results. Now you work twice as hard and get half the outcome. Your old strategies no longer apply because you're on new ground. Third sign, you feel nostalgic for a future you don't know. This one is deep. You don't miss the past. You miss something that hasn't arrived yet. You feel that there is a version of your life waiting for you, but you don't know where. Zen masters call this the call of the Dharma. Your true purpose knocking at the door. Fourth sign, your values are changing. What used to be important now seems superficial. The money you chased no longer motivates you in the same way. The status you sought now feels empty. This is not depression. It's spiritual maturity. You are evolving beyond the desires of the ego. Fifth sign, synchronicities increase. You start noticing strange coincidences, casual conversations that touch exactly what you're thinking about, books that reach you at the perfect moment, unexpected opportunities that appear out of nowhere. The universe is conspiring for your next chapter. Do you recognize some of these signs? If so, take a deep breath. You are not lost. You are exactly where you need to be, on the threshold between who you were and who you will become. But if ends of cycles are natural, if they are necessary for our growth, why do we resist them so much? Let me share something I learned after decades of studying Zen and observing human behavior. We resist because of three fundamental fears. The fear of lost identity. For years, even decades, you built an identity around certain roles. I am a doctor. I am a family man. I am the successful one in the group. Your ego wrapped itself completely in these labels. When a cycle ends, it threatens that identity. And the ego interprets this as a threat to your very survival. That's why feeling that you no longer want to be a lawyer can generate so much panic, even though rationally you know you can survive doing something else. Zen teaches you this. You are not your roles. You are the consciousness that experiences those roles. And that consciousness is indestructible, infinite, and capable of adopting infinite forms. The fear of external judgment. We live in a society that punishes changes of direction. What do you mean you're leaving your stable job? At your age, you're going to start over? And all the time you invested. These judgments are so internalized that even if no one says anything, you already hear them in your own head. But here is the liberating truth. People who judge you for evolving are trapped in their own finished cycles. Their criticism is not about you. It is their fear projected outward. The fear of uncertainty. This is the greatest of all. When you end a cycle, you don't know for certain what comes next. There is a void, an in-between space that mystics call the bardo, that territory between the death of the old and the birth of the new. And we, as a modern society, hate uncertainty. We want maps, plans, guarantees. But Zen whispers to you, uncertainty is not the enemy. It is the fertile ground where the miraculous can take root. There is a Zen story about a farmer whose horse runs away. The neighbors say, "What bad luck?" He replies, "Maybe." The horse returns with wild horses. The neighbors say, "What good luck?" He replies, "Maybe." His son tames a horse and breaks his leg. What bad luck? Maybe. War comes and his son doesn't go because he's injured. What good luck? Maybe. Do you grasp the teaching? We don't know what is good or bad. We only know that everything is part of a greater flow. Resisting that flow is suffering. Flowing with it is living. Hey, if this message is resonating with you, if you're starting to see your current situation from a different perspective, I need to ask you a favor. Hit the subscribe button right now, because this channel exists to accompany you precisely in these moments of transformation. Every week we share stories, teachings, and practical Zen wisdom to navigate the real challenges of life. And activate the notification bell, because the algorithm is unpredictable. But your personal growth doesn't have to be. We're waiting for you in this community of seekers. Now, let's continue. Because understanding the end of a cycle is only the beginning. What really matters is, what do you do with that understanding? All right, you've already identified the signs. You understand why you resist. Now comes the part that truly matters. How do you navigate this end of a cycle without self-destructing in the process? Because here's the danger. Many people, when they recognize an end of a cycle, make impulsive and destructive changes. They quit without a plan. They end relationships abruptly. They run away geographically, hoping external change will fix the internal. That is not ending a cycle with wisdom. That is escaping the cycle without learning its lessons. And when you do that, the universe has a way of making you repeat the course. Principle 1. Honor what was before letting it go. This cycle that is ending gave you something valuable, even if right now you only see its limitations. It taught you, strengthened you, prepared you for what comes next. Before releasing it, thank it. I don't mean a superficial gratitude exercise. I mean truly sitting in meditation, remembering the meaningful moments, recognizing the growth you gained. This is not sentimentalism. It's integration. When you honor a cycle, you extract its full wisdom. There is a beautiful Zen ritual for this. Write a letter to that cycle of your life as if it were a person. Thank it specifically for the lessons. Then ceremonially burn that letter, watching the smoke carry that energy back to the universe. It sounds simple, but the ceremony anchors the closure in your psyche. Principle 2. Embrace the in-between void. Between the end of one cycle and the beginning of the next, there is always a period of emptiness, a spiritual desert. Westerners hate it because it feels unproductive, but it is absolutely essential. This void is like winter in nature. It looks dead, but beneath the surface a profound reorganization is taking place. Seeds are germinating invisibly. Your new self is being formed. During this time, don't force anything. Read, reflect, meditate, walk in nature. Allow yourself to be someone who doesn't know, because only from that not knowing can something genuinely new emerge. A Zen master once told me, the problem of modern man is not that he doesn't know the answers. It's that he cannot tolerate the questions. Principle 3. Listen to the subtle signals of the next cycle. While you're in that void, pay attention. The next cycle doesn't arrive with trumpets and neon lights. It arrives with whispers. A curiosity you can't explain. An opportunity that seems to make no sense, but that you can't ignore. A person who enters your life at exactly the right moment. Here's the trick. The next cycle rarely looks like what your logical mind would have planned. If you're an engineer, the next cycle might involve art. If you were an executive, it might involve community service. The soul doesn't think in terms of resumes. It thinks in terms of wholeness. Principle 4. Take small steps, not blind leaps. When you identify where the next cycle is pulling you, you don't need to burn all the ships. Start with small experiments. Dedicate 2 hours a week to that new passion. Take that course. Talk to people in that field. Zen values conscious action over dramatic action. One small step taken with full presence is worth more than 10 big steps taken from fear or impulsiveness. Principle 5. Trust perfect timing. This is difficult for the Western mind. We want schedules, deadlines, 5-year plans. But life cycles operate in soul time, not clock time. When you're aligned with your true path, doors open with almost miraculous ease. When you're forcing something that isn't yours, every step is a struggle. Learn to recognize the difference between resistance you must overcome and resistance that is the universe telling you, this is not the path. Let me share 3 real stories of people who navigated ends of cycles with Zen wisdom, because sometimes we need to see the map through the eyes of those who have already walked the terrain. The story of Kenji, the executive who became a monk gardener. Kenji was 48 years old, a vice president of a multinational corporation, earning a six-figure salary. From the outside, a perfect life. On the inside, what he described as death while alive. One day, while visiting a client in Kyoto, he got lost and ended up in a Zen temple with a rock garden. He sat there unplanned for 4 hours. Something inside him woke up. He didn't quit the next day. That would have been running away, not transforming. Instead, he began visiting that temple every month. He learned about Zen gardening. Little by little, he reduced his working hours, delegating responsibilities. 3 years later, with enough savings and absolute clarity, he left the corporation and became an apprentice Zen gardener. Today, at 56, he earns a fraction of what he once did, lives in a small apartment, and says that for the first time in decades he doesn't need antidepressants because he found his true medicine, purpose. His key lesson: the end of a cycle does not require blind courage. It requires conscious patience. The story of Maria, the mother who rediscovered her identity. Maria devoted 25 years to being a mother. An excellent mother, in fact. But when her youngest child left for college, she fell into a deep depression. Her entire identity was wrapped up in that role. Her initial mistake was trying to fill that void too quickly. She signed up for 1,000 activities, volunteered for 1,000 causes, but everything felt hollow because she was escaping the void instead of inhabiting it. A therapist trained in Zen gave her a radical piece of advice: do nothing for 3 months. Just sit with the void. It sounded terrifying, but she did it. During those 3 months, she meditated every morning, asking herself, who am I without the role of mother? At first, there was only panic. Then, slowly, memories of her pre-motherhood self began to emerge. A passion for writing she had abandoned at 25. Today, at 52, Maria is a published author of 2 novels. She is still a mother, but she is no longer only a mother. She discovered that ends of cycles are not abandonments, they are expansions. Her lesson: you cannot discover who you truly are until you let go of who you thought you were supposed to be. The story of Roberto, the man who lost everything and found more. Roberto did not choose his end of a cycle. The end of the cycle chose him. In a single year: divorce, loss of his job, and a serious medical diagnosis. Everything that defined his life collapsed. His first year was pure hell. Rage, depression, feeling like a victim of fate. But in his second year, something changed. He began to see each loss not as punishment, but as liberation. The divorce freed him from a relationship that had long been dead. Losing his job freed him from a career he hated but clung to for security. Illness forced him to prioritize his health, something he had ignored for decades. Today, at 61, Roberto lives with fewer material resources but with more inner peace than he ever knew. He works part-time at something he loves, takes care of himself, and has authentic relationships. His most powerful lesson: sometimes the universe has to destroy your false life so you can finally build your true one. We've traveled a long road together in these minutes, from identifying the signs to learning how to navigate the process. But I want to leave you with the deepest understanding of all. The end of a cycle is not something that happens to you. It is something that you are. Your entire life is a tapestry of cycles within cycles within cycles. Daily cycles, weekly cycles, yearly cycles, cycles of decades. You are constantly ending and beginning. Every breath is a complete cycle. Every night of sleep is a small death and rebirth. The problem is that modern society taught you to cling, to accumulate, to build solid and permanent identities. But that goes against the fundamental nature of reality. Zen masters have a concept called beginner's mind. It is the ability to see each moment as if it were the first time, free of all your mental accumulations. And do you know when it is easiest to access that mind? During ends of cycles. When everything you thought you knew collapses, when your certainties evaporate, When your identity becomes fluid there, in that seemingly terrifying moment, you are closest to your true nature. Because your true nature is none of your roles. It is not your profession, your marital status, your bank account, your achievements. Your true nature is that clear, luminous awareness that observes all those roles appearing and disappearing. And that awareness cannot be harmed by any end of a cycle. It cannot be threatened by any change. It is immortal, infinite, perfectly free. When you touch that truth, ends of cycles stop being crises and become what they truly are. Opportunities to remember who you are beyond all the stories you told yourself. So the next time you feel like your life is falling apart, try this Zen exercise. Sit in silence, close your eyes, and ask yourself, what part of me is observing this change? Because there is a part of you that is going through the change, and there is another part that simply observes it with equanimity. That observing part is your true refuge, not in an escapist sense, but in the deepest sense. It is your anchor in the middle of all storms. And from that place of calm observation, you can navigate any end of a cycle with grace, wisdom, and even gratitude. So here we are, reaching the end of our time together today. But really, this isn't an end, is it? It's just another cycle completing itself to make way for the next. If there is one thing I want you to take from this message, it is this: ends of cycles are not failures. They are graduations. They mean you completed one level of learning and are ready for the next. Life is not punishing you. It is inviting you to evolve. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, there will be moments of doubt. Yes, you will have days when you want to return to what is familiar even though it no longer nourishes you. But now you have a map. You have the signs, the principles, the stories of those who walked before you. You are not alone in this process. Thousands, millions of people are exactly where you are right now, wondering if they're crazy for wanting something different. You are not crazy. You are awakening. If this message touched something real in you, I need you to do 3 things. First, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Every week we explore these deep truths in a practical and accessible way. Second, share this video with that person in your life whom you know is struggling with an important change. It might be exactly what they need to hear today. And third, leave me a comment telling me, what cycle is ending in your life right now? You don't need to share personal details. Just share if it resonates. Because when we name what we are going through, we take power away from fear. Remember, bamboo takes 7 years to develop its roots underground before you see a single shoot. But once it emerges, it can grow a meter in just 6 weeks. Your next cycle is putting down roots at this very moment, even if you can't see it yet. Trust the process, honor the timing, and above all, have the courage to let go of what has already fulfilled its purpose to make space for the miraculous that is about to arrive. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue exploring the ancestral wisdom your modern life needs. Until then, may you find peace in your transition.